Welcome to everybody once again. Today we have a very interesting set of speakers who will talk about fantastic journeys. First, I'd like to bring up um, Jyoti. She's somebody who's been on this program for almost more than a year now, and her story is very exciting. So, without wasting much time, Jyoti, welcome to welcome on this call once again. So, uh, happy to host you here as a proud transform you warrior. So, for all the people on this call, would you like to share your journey in brief 1 minute? Maybe your
Yes.
introduction.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Jyoti and I'm from Jharkhand and I work in Bangalore and logging in right now from Gurgaon. Yes. So, my journey has been a roller coaster of a ride. I because there have been a lot of unexpected ups and downs in my journey. And when I signed up for this program, I had this mindset that it's going to be the most difficult thing to do. So that's what it started as a very difficult phase for me because I was like full on prepared that if I'm going into it and I have taken it, I have to do it. And in order to do that, I have to be very strict. I have to be very strict about it. So initially, it was very tough for me. And the moment I got into the flow, with the help of Rajeev, who's also my coach, and with the constant communication and everything, it started. I just went on with the flow. And once I got into the flow of eating right, exercising, everything seemed easier. See, this is like the up phase of the roller coaster. The down phase was when suddenly there was a saturation point. There was a phase when you're doing everything right, but nothing is moving for you and you feel stuck. So then there was another phase of my transformation journey where I was just completely stuck. I didn't know what to do. Then I went up to Rajiv. I asked him, what should I do? Like, this is what is happening. And then we had this communication of what is going on, we can tweak everything, how we can work around it. And then uh, there was an up that again I could see there was improvement. We tweaked around the plan, and then uh, the journey got easier. So yeah, so it's been like various ups and downs, lot of reflections, lot of communication, a lot of learnings, I'll say.
Wonderful. Before we move on, I just want to share this with all of you. So, this is Jyoti when I met her.
February. Holy moly, it's February now. This is what I look like in March. Holy shit, it is April. What's that? May. Suddenly it's June. Now it's July. What comes next? August. It's August now. Oh, look at that. It's September. This is what I look like in October and November. Now it's December. Woo, you made it.
Whoa, you made it. Whoa.
This iconic, you know, transformation, whatever testimony that is spread all over the world at this moment. Why? Because it's so inspirational, it's so empowering and so positive, reinforcing that if someone like Jyoti can also transform, then anybody can transform. Okay. So, Jyoti, I have a few specific questions for you. You see, your
Okay.
journey has been up and down, right? But one thing has been that you have maintained your weight. I think you went from, can you tell us what weight you started and what weight you are right now?
I Of course, I definitely remember that because I remember when I was on that weighing scale and and it hit 79. I was so scared because I felt like, oh my God, if I don't like, I will reach 80 for sure. And that was something which was my tipping point. I never wanted to get into the weight zone of 80s. So I started with 79 and then I reduced my weight to 62, 63, 61. So I keep, yeah, this
Eating
was my peak
kgs.
weight. Yes,
Yes. I think it was 6 months.
yes,
6 months.
five,
But
six months. Yeah,
we are 18 months into the program. So what has happened in the last 12 months? How did you maintain that?
I feel like maintaining is the most toughest task because it's it's more of a mental game. It's for sure a physical change and everything. You work on your body, but you also start working on your mind when you start, yeah, when you get into the program, because until unless you don't sort out things here, things won't happen here. And so the thing was, I got to know how I have to manipulate myself to get into healthier habits. How should I, so there were a lot of things. In the course of program, I learned what kind of food I need to eat. So, for example, when I used to go out, I used to tell Rajeev I had something from out. So he was like, eat whatever you want to eat, but don't forget to have salad. So I kept it as a note in my mind that even if I'm eating, even if I go here and there, I need to have my salad properly. So that was something which stayed in my mind, even if I'm traveling, even if I'm going out, even if I'm not able to cook myself, I make sure that I have salad here and there. And I could actually see the difference when you maintain that kind. So there were small tips and, small things which I learned over the program, and I kind of applied in my life. And yes, that was something which really worked for me.
Okay. Wonderful. You said about maintaining your consistency with your salads, right? I'm
Uh,
sure you would have come across people who would have said, Chodo yaar, kya? Or restaurants would have not had salads. What did you do then?
it's very difficult because even during my maintenance phase, there was used to be people who would be like, "You have gained weight," and I know I'm doing everything right, and I'm not going. And they, you could hear things like, "हो गया इतना weight gain lose हो गया." People who have seen my transformation from 18 kgs, they are like, "Wow, why you have to lose more weight?" But then the thing is, I feel like I read this book, heard this book called Atomic Habits, and it talks so much about surrounding yourself with right people. If you want to be a good writer, surround yourself with good writers. If you want to be into health and fitness, surround you with yourself with people like that. So I think community in that case, you will always have people like that will talk about, because uh, it has nothing to do with you actually. They go by what they see. So they just see you outside and then they say, oh, you have lost weight, or you have lost so much weight. Oh, you're looking chubby, or you're looking fitter, you're looking healthier. But then, or you're looking very exhausted. There will be different kind of comments, positive and negative. So first thing is, I feel that you really have to listen to yourself, listen to your body, and be surrounded with people who brings good habits and talk about good things. So when I started hanging out with Transform You Coach, the community, every I was so regular on every Sundays. Every morning I'll go for Kaban Park. Everybody who's here who knows that I really like going to Kaban Park, or Sunday morning going for workout. And it's like my priority daily task, not daily but priority Sunday task. And I used to be the kind of person on Sundays, my routine used to start after 12. I used to be like wake up so late. So when you start surrounding yourself with right people, and these things will just get in your life, and you won't even know, it won't be that difficult for you that you imagine, and it will just become your habit, and you don't have to like force it in your life. So yeah, it really helps to be, yeah,
Good.
to have friends like that.
So
You should
moral
know
of the
that.
story is, if you're not losing weight, come to Kaban Park on Sunday morning.
So a lot of people who ask me if I have to be in the program, do I have to come on Sundays to Kaban Park? But that's not something which you have left. So I tell them that's not something which you have to necessarily do, but then it'll come into you. Like once you start the program, you feel like you're coming, you feel like doing things like that. You will sign up for things you never thought you will sign up. So yeah.
Yeah, talking about that, why don't you tell us your half marathon 2.0 story very briefly?
So it's half marathon 2.0 because I have attempted half marathon before in 2018 when I
And I
was,
was,
yeah, 71 kgs, 71, 72. And that's me on the left. Because a lot of people are not able to identify when they see the 2, 3 years back me and now me. So yeah, so this happened in 2018 when I signed up for it without any proper planning, proper preparation. I had no sense of distance, no sense of direction. I don't know why I got into it, but I just wanted to push myself outside of my comfort zone. So that was the reason I wanted some kick in my life, some kind of a challenge. So that's how I signed up for it. But then when I got into it, I had to literally drag myself. I was crawling, crying, screaming 21 kilometers. Felt like a very, very long journey. I can't even like express it in words, the kind of pain and suffering I went through. I felt like
Mhm.
quitting every moment, every kilometer.
Mhm.
And that was it. And after that, it actually took me 3 years to sign up for next half marathon, but I'm glad I did it. And this time I was like full on prepared. I already did my 10 kilometer twice in the last few months. And I gained, and I used to go to Kaban Park uh, and, prepare for the running. I had the guidance of the community in terms of that. In terms of nutrition, in terms of what I'm supposed to eat before the run, after the run, the kind of warm up exercise you should do before you start the run. So these things were completely lacking when I went for it in 2018. So in 2000 and this year, I when I went for it, I could see the difference because I kept myself hydrating, which was something which I was not aware of that time. I didn't know that I need to hydrate myself, and 21 kilometers seemed actually very easy because after 10, I could easily finish 10 kilometers. And then I was like, oh yeah, 10 kilometers. So I had that sense of distance now. And I knew I just need to listen to my body, just keep going, keep my pace. And 21 kilometer was actually very exciting. And at this time, I really enjoyed. I didn't have to crawl myself, cry myself out. I enjoyed my half marathon, and I was fully excited after I finished it. I was full of energy still.
Wonderful, wonderful. But how was the 18th kilometer?
The last 2, 3 kilometers were still tough. I still have to get there.
Yeah.
But
So you need
then,
to hang out with Manas a little bit more for that, and come to the run club a little bit more. Okay.
yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Jyoti. So just what does the future look like? I mean, I've seen you just go from a very casual inquiry. I think you took about 4 months to start your program, right?
Yes, yes, I had given a lot of thought into it. Initially, I was not even sure if even if I sign up for it, what if I'm not able to do it? That was my biggest worry. And I was already hopeless. I've tried everything and I didn't want to fail again. So that was my initial hesitation and I had really had to prepare myself. I felt like uh, I don't want, if I sign up for this, I have to somehow finish it. I have to do it.
And 18 months later now, you are somebody who's inspiring so many women, so many people, right? What shifted? What changed for you in just maybe one line if you want to share?
Uh, what's changed? Mind shift change. I think that was the main thing because I think it's not only about weight loss. It's more about overall wellness. It's about how you're here in your mind, how sought out you are. Like it's more than just a weight loss. You keep on reflecting on things. You start getting more. So if you have to eat right, you have to plan right. You have to be more aware of your physical state of mind, mental state of mind. So even if somebody tells me that, oh, you're gaining weight, but I know my journey. I know I've gone from where to there, like what kind of journey I had. I'm pretty confident that you know I don't get disturbed. I don't get disappointed with these kind of comments. Yeah, I like feel like even if it's coming, I don't listen to that. I listen to myself more than anybody else. Yeah, so it's all about playing with your mind, manipulating your mind into doing right for yourself.
Wonderful. So private victory leading to public victory. है ना? Wonderful. So now Jyoti is on the way to becoming Transform You coach, and what a journey. It's been a pleasure and a joy hosting you, talking to you, and obviously working with you over the last 18 months, Jyoti. Thank you. Thank you for fighting the good fight and for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day. All right, folks. How was that? Can we hear some comments in the comment section? Probably anything that you liked, anything that touched you, inspired you. You can probably take a minute and share your comments over there. For me personally, it is just it's another a data point showing the world that hey, it's just a choice, it's a personal choice, right? And if I just take that choice and I surround myself with the people who have made that choice in their life, then the journey becomes very, very easy, isn't it? Wonderful. So with that, we'll move on to the next section of the community open house. Don't leave yet. We have another very, very fantastic, mind-boggling speaker who will dazzle you with her tips today. So over to you, Aisha.
Thank you very, very much, Rajeev. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, based on where you're logged in. And it's so wonderful having you here. Happy Navratris. On that note, let me just jump right into this. Rajeev, just give me an okay once you're able to see my screen. Just give me a sec. Mm, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible now. Please go ahead.
All right, great. So today, the topic that I chose for this talk today was something that, a lot of us, when we start on our health journeys, it's something that comes to us time and again in one form of or the other. Distractions in life, it could be people, it could be thoughts, it could be your personal self, or just somebody telling you something. It could be peer pressure at work. Whatever it is, those some points that I've picked out for you, which I think might be really, really instrumental as you move forward in your health journey. So we're calling this crushing your weight loss goals like a boss despite your environment. Okay, so some key parts, the big six, the topics that I wanted to cover with you, which we're going to be going over in the next couple of minutes. So things like your busy lifestyle, perhaps family concerns, maybe just boredom or lack of motivation. This could be peer pressure or just travel for work or leisure. So how do you tide over all of these, right? Like one step at a time. All right. So when you're talking busy lifestyle, what I have found to be true for most of my clients across our community, like anybody who has come up as a success story, either themselves or they've had some really powerful people backing them up as family who have been able to help them prep their meals. Like they sit with their coaches and they find out that, all right, how is it that I could prepare my meals in advance? This could be something as simple as batch cooking your gravies and stocking them in the fridge, and as and when time comes, just like take out one of these and thawing them, and like just that is like 5 minutes of entire work done. Or maybe just like if you're a single person living by yourself and there's not too much time to cook and taste something that can be a little compromised on, perhaps look at moving into one pot meal. So the basic macros, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, depending on the kind of routine that you're following, right? Put all of that in one pot and try and see if you can do something with that. So that's again a very, very quick way to ensure that you're able to, even despite like a busy, busy day at work, you're still able to come back, and while you're changing into your home clothes, you're able to get that meal going and you're still able to stay on track. Something that I've found to be very, very useful for the people who are working from home at the moment, right? A lot of you take calls depending on the time of day, wherever it is that you are at. Sometimes these could be videos, sometimes these could just be audios. The kinds that are audios, try and see if you can walk around while the thing is going on, while the meeting is going on. This is something that you can also implement at your workplaces. Those of you who are leading teams in offices, try and see if this is something, or maybe just a standing meeting, if that's something that you can implement at your workplace. That effect of this is going to be far reaching, right? You're going to be able to inspire a lot of different people. And one more thing, a very, very simple step, a very, very simple tip to getting maybe a few more steps in on a daily basis is looking at fitness when it comes to commuting, right? This could be something as simple as parking a couple of blocks away from where your office is, or parking your vehicle away, like a little further away from where you stay. That way, or even if it's the shopping mall or wherever it is that you're going, so just that way you'll be able to consciously extend the time that you are on your foot and walking around, and you're not sitting on your desk all day long, right? So those are some of the tips that you can keep in mind as you navigate a busy lifestyle. All right, family concerns, very important. So for many of us, especially, I think this is something that for a lot of women, when you're staying in a family setup, it becomes a little challenging to have everybody come into your, be behind you, back you up, for them to be in your corner. Sometimes, the concern that is often faced is that, your family is going to be like, why do you need to eat this way? Why does it have to be so different? Why put in the effort? And like Jyoti was mentioning just a little while ago, that you look weak, you're not eating enough, or whatever it is. What I have found to be the number one game changer here is if you can sit them down and communicate your health goals. That that, I mean, it is commonsensical that if and only if you tell them that this is what I am trying to achieve, and if they have concerns, by all means put them in touch with your coach, so that they're able to think through things with them as well. Any doubts, any suggestions, any concerns that they have, which you perhaps might not be in a position to answer, it always makes sense to have the whole, like maybe the significant others or the key stakeholders in your life and your coaches be there in the setup with your coach. Secret ingredient swap, so something that again works quite often, especially if you're living with children, so that you're able to have a complete switch for the lifestyle, not just for yourself, but like as you proceed forward in your journey, maybe just to reduce your pressure in terms of making a number of dishes, because every person in the house is going to be eating differently. Try and see that, say if it's something like a soup, can you make it a 3 ingredient soup? Maybe typically you've had a tomato soup. Try and see if you can add the loki to that soup, and perhaps nobody will be able to even tell because it's so bland on its own, right? Or maybe if you're just doing some pizza sauce or a pasta sauce, all of those things can have some green veggies blended into the sauce itself, and again, that's a secret ingredient swap. Nobody finds out, and it's good for you too. Grocery shopping adventures, try and see if you can go make it a family event. Try and see if you can go together and make it an entire celebration of sorts, like where you maybe kids shop, pick fruits, and you pick vegetables and somebody picks the other items. Also, one thing that really works, and this is again for families where you would have a lot of picky eaters, is like if once a week or once a month you can have meal planning meetings. This is very underrated. If you can sit everybody on the table, that you're like, all right, this is what my meal plan looks like, do you have any suggestions, inputs? You find that out in advance, and then you're sorted for the month because you know what's coming up next. All right, boredom, very important for a lot of us, like because sometimes being on the same track can sometimes get a little repetitive. In this situation, try and see if you can switch up as far as variety goes. For this, I can't emphasize this enough. Please do get back to your coach. Ask them, what is it that I can be doing differently? If it has become monotonous, you don't have to torture yourself. You have a lot of alternates that will make it a lot more enjoyable for you. But please, you must speak to whoever is the one whoever is your coach who's guiding you in the process. Mindful eating, again, very important. See, whatever it is, even if it's the simplest meal, we were speaking about one pot meals. Try and see if you can really enjoy the process. Do it without a television screen, because that way you're going to be able to savor every morsel of it, and it's just not an activity that's tick in the box. Homegrown hubs, well, this is something that really stands out because I picked it up from a client of mine who did this. She planted a couple of some key herbs. She planted some coriander, she planted some mint and some lemons in her kitchen garden, right across in her balcony actually. And every time she do her cooking, she just snip a piece of whatever and add that to her salad, and it made her feel incredible. So that's something that can be your go-to as well if you have a green thumb. Dine in restaurant, again, a fabulous way to make weekends fun for your family, especially if you are staying with children, or maybe if you have spouse or a significant other. Try and see if you can make a dinner or maybe a lunch a very nice intimate event. in your home itself. So maybe lay out a nice tablecloth. Don't just save it for the guests, do it for yourself and see what it feels like. Dress up really nice and, keep all the courses that you'd like to have for that day going and really, really enjoy it. Maybe light up a candle or two and, really make an event out of that. And that way it'll be very, very nice for the entire family as well. And you'll be able to cherish a nice, great meal together too. All right, motivation. I think this is one thing that a lot of people slip at because, many times we start with a lot of excitement, but, come second month, motivation starts to dip a little. Now, these are some things that have traditionally worked very, very well, and this really might be helpful for you. First is setting milestones, right? So when I say setting milestones, this could be in many, many different ways. This could be, of course, the broader umbrella that we're looking at perhaps is weight, but you can also track your inches. You can track the number of steps. Maybe say if you're starting off at 3,000 steps, try and see if you can take it up to 5,000, take it up to 7,000, perhaps 10,000, and work your way up to half a marathon, perhaps, like Jyoti. So see how it goes for you, or maybe something as simple as sleeping. That was I able to do 7 hours of sleep, night on like every nightly basis. No chain break. Okay, so this is again something that's very nice too. It's very visually very gratifying, very rewarding. Try and see if you can purchase, invest in a calendar, and how you put cross every day that you're able to maintain that streak. Or if you, I'm sure all of you, most of you here on the call are, clients with us. So the coach that you're working with, utilize the chat message. You'll all have a WhatsApp group going with your coach. Ensure that every night before you hit the bed, you put like, day 1 of 7 done, or day 1 of 14 done, right? And you can keep increasing that counter as you go, right? The third thing here, again, critical accountability partner. Utilize your coach or utilize your children, right? I mean, I don't think there's a better bet. I have somebody on the call here who's a client of mine, and he was telling me that how sometimes he would forget to click the meal picture, but his children would remind him, right? So like that's something that's very powerful. If you can have the whole family rally behind your health goal, nothing like it. And also try and see if you can bring in the community. Like, that's such a powerful asset to have sessions like this. Typically most Sunday mornings we have something like this going. If you're based out of Bangalore, Jyoti was mentioning this a while ago, we have workout sessions happening in Kaban Park. If you can have that accountability going, that is something that can be very, very useful for you. Letter to your future self. Set a future date for opening. If you're just starting in your journey, to write a future date, maybe 4 months from now, a letter to yourself, and describe what the event would look like, or how the last couple of months have transpired. So that letter is something that can be it can be a very emotional and personal thing to do. Peer pressure, right? So this is something that can apply to you if you are in an office sort of a setting. Try and see if you can inform them that, I'm doing this not just from an appearance sort of a standpoint, but this is for my health. People tend to be a lot more sensitive to your health goals if you are approaching this from a health sort of a perspective. Social media accountability in today's time, I think it can be a great asset. Try and see if you're starting off on your health journey, and if you're bold, and if you're really into what you're doing, try and see if you can make announce it to the world, and you'll have a community keeping you accountable. Non-food social activities, consider going out for movies, maybe concerts, or some setting where you're not required to indulge in food for enjoyment. Healthy choice language, this is very critical. When you are speaking to somebody, and maybe say you're at a party, try and refrain from saying, oh, I can't have that, to say, oh, I'd prefer that. See, it's a lot of mindset here, because when you tell somebody I can't have that, usually the perception of what you are doing for the other person is based on how you communicate it. If you communicate it like, no, I enjoy that better, that is something that I really want to do, rather than creating a lack where you're saying that, oh, I can't do that, the person is going to be a lot significantly more supportive of your decisions. Last point here, travel. Pack healthy, your nuts, maybe something like your buttermilk, your micronutrients. Ensure that you carry them along. Hotel room workouts, try and see if you can keep some maybe resistance band or yoga, something like a Surya Namaskar does not need too much space either. Plan restaurants in advance. So wherever it is that you're going, reach out to your coach, let them know that this is where I'm going to be traveling to, 3 restaurants in my vicinity, and sit down with them and go over the menu and decide what are some of the things that you can do. One final thing that really gets in the way of travel more often than not is maintenance of routine, especially if you have a lot of difference of time zones in your travel. Do your best to ensure that you can stick to your daily routine as best as you can. There's a time for workout, there's a time for eating, despite meetings, despite everything that is going on. Do your best to maintain that routine going, and I'm sure this is something that can really really help you on your journey. I hope this was helpful. If this resonates with you, this is, these are our social media handles. Feel free to reach out to you, or if you're somebody who's at the cusp of starting your journey, please reach out to the person who has invited you for today's session, and they'll be able to guide you on the way forward. And lastly, no excuses. Build habits for a lifetime, and that's the only way to make this change a permanent feature. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day ahead. Back to you, Rajeev.
Wow, wasn't that awesome? I mean, if you felt like her talk was like the butter that you put on your bread today morning. Smooth. Wonderful, wonderful. Always a pleasure to listen to someone like Ayesha because she has helped so many people and she's put the structure to her program, right? Like all of us. So good. With that, we come to the end of the community open house. But I'll tell you, this is the beginning of something bigger. Okay. I just want to play a small AV and then we'll close.